Hey team, hope everybody is doing well. Today's video is all about the front rack position in the front squat, in the push jerk, and a ton of other overhead movements. I shot some of this footage a few days back, but if you are an individual who tends to have your elbows drop down during the front squat, if you get pain in the wrists, if your elbows hurt, if the back of your shoulders feel tight, or you just generally don't enjoy when front squats show up in your workout, then stay tuned. This video is for you. It's all about how you can take your front squat and your front rack position from this over to something like this. Anyways, guys, tune in. Hopefully this helps. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. I'd be happy to help you guys, and keep training hard and enjoy the video. What's up, guys? Sam here. Today I'm going to talk to you about the front rack positioning for the front squat. A few of you have been talking about issues with your wrist, your shoulder, your elbow that basically prevent you from getting into a healthy front rack position for a front squat, for a push jerk, and a few other movements. So I just wanted to give you guys a bit of a playbook on how you can go about fixing and attenuating your shoulder mobility issues. So first off, let's talk about what a good front rack position looks like. So ideally, in the front rack position, your hands should be just wider than shoulder width. Your elbows should be up nice and high and in tight. So that's the big piece, being in tight. A shoulder or a front rack position where our shoulder sits outside of the hand is actually dysfunctional and can lead to a lot of downstream effects that are going to hurt your overall performance and potentially lead to injury. So what we want to try and do is keep that elbow in tight despite having our hand out wide in the front rack position. So if you have trouble with keeping your elbow in, it usually means you lack external rotation in the shoulder. So a very simple stretch you can do is take a stick like this, swing it up, over, and around until it sits at about 90 degrees to the ground. You're going to take this hand here and you're going to pull across. So what you'll notice here is this position essentially looks like that front rack position we're trying to capture in the front squat. So this is going to help the shoulder get into a nice sound position. Performing 10, 20, 30, really the more reps, the better on this stretch. And again, each repetition trying to get a little bit more rotation. Now, if you want to get a slightly deeper stretch, when you go into that rotated position, raise the arm overhead and then bring it back down. So again, that looks like this. Rotate and raise overhead. That's going to be just a little bit more effective. So again, if you have an issue with keeping that elbow in tight while front squatting, try this quick stretch out. The next one I'm going to show you. All right, so if you have issue keeping your elbows up while performing the front squat, this next stretch is going to be good for you. So you'll just take a stretch band like this, step into it, and you're going to bring your elbow up and then try and raise it overhead. While you're in this position, you want to brace the abs and try and point that elbow to the ceiling. If you want to get a very effective stretch, you're going to want to hold this for at least 2 to 3 minutes. And again, that should greatly help attenuate those elbows dropping in the front squat. All right, so next up, if you get a lot of pain in the front of the wrist while performing the front squat, it usually means the flexor muscles are a little stiff. So what you can do is take your hands, turn them this way. From here, what you want to do is sink your hips backwards. So from the side, it looks like this, dropping the hip, and you should feel a deep stretch along here. After after about 1 to 2 minutes, you're going to lift the palms, and now we're going to be working more near the palm and the finger joints. This will give you a similar stretch, again trying to hold this for 2 to 3 minutes. Now, if the pain doesn't exist in the front of the wrist, but rather in the back of the wrist, generally that means the bones of the wrist are running into each other. So we need to create a bit of a flexion gap to allow that wrist to move better. So if you have pain in the back of the wrist during the front squat, take a band, put it right above the wrist joint, pull your hand away, and from here, all you're gonna do is try and lean over top of that hand, holding this stretch for 2 to 3 minutes. So that's going to separate the bones so you can bend through full range of motion without having that bone-on-bone contact. Do this for 2 to 3 minutes. That should greatly improve the range of motion in the wrist and help with that front rack position.